Hey folks, welcome back to Customer Chronicles. This is Chai from the Zoho One team. And today, once again, we have another player from this interesting sector called co-living. FF21 is a co-living space. They are based out of Bangalore and they have the clusters across 6 different locations. Now we have Mr. Ajay, who is the founding CEO of FF21 with us here today. Welcome to our show, Ajay.
Thank you.
So Ajay, in the recent past, I have had the opportunity to converse with multiple business owners from this particular sector. Through these conversations, we were able to gather a few intel about this industry. With these intels, I've segmented today's podcast into 3 parts. The first one is going to be primarily target demographics and target audience. The second part is going to be market evolution. And the last part would be about technology. So before we deep dive into the podcast, would you like to give a quick brief on what FF21 is to our viewers and listeners?
So FF21 is a co-living company where we provide accommodation, but our main focus is on community living and providing a living experience which is unheard of and not seen in many other places that I have seen till now. FF21 is trying to improve the overall quality and standards of living in India for a certain target group.
Right. So since you mentioned about a certain target group, what is the apt customer persona that you're looking for in FF21? What kind of people do you cater to?
So, see, there are two distinct people that we see in the market today. One is people who are working professionals, who are working in either IT companies or non-IT companies in nearby vicinities of our buildings and clusters. So the age group of that is just after college, that is about 20 or 21 to about 30 years old.
Right.
Because after 30, we feel that people move on with their life and get married or whatever. So FF21 is only primarily for single people. So that's the age group that we look for, and mostly for working professionals in knowledge industry or non-knowledge, but at a certain level of jobs.
Right. So you also mentioned about community as key aspect of FF21, right? So what are some of the few things that happens at FF21 in the basis of community? How is the atmosphere like in a usual day?
So I would go a step back first. Basically, say for example, you live in a house which is a DDA layout, say for example, BDA layout. In that, the houses are separate and individual, and there is no place which is common where people in that neighborhood can go and actually meet each other. So you notice that they never meet and they don't know each other most of the time. The neighbors hardly know each other. Whereas if you are living in a gated colony where you have a clubhouse, there people meet in the clubhouse and then they become friends, or they at least know each other. They start waving at each other and then slowly the friendships grow or something happens. Some relationship develops because there is a common ground. So similarly, when we were trying to envisage and vision the FF21 buildings, we thought the most important thing to create community is to have common spaces. As you would see in the videos which are there for FF21, our common areas are very beautifully done, very congenial for that age group. They can chill and vibe there. And that's what makes FF21 different from many other peers that we have in the industry, that we spend much more effort, concentration and money on getting the common areas to be very good. And that makes the difference in creating that community, because people congregate there, people chill there. And then they meet with each other, and then obviously humans create friendship very quickly if they get a chance to meet.
Right.
And that's what happens. So they start forming subgroups, they start forming groups, they do different activities. We have seen people in our community cooking together. 10 people are cooking together in our common kitchens. Then they will play some games. We provide a lot of games and all in the common areas. Then we have full gaming section where you have pool table, TT table and all. So all those things, they create reasons for people to collaborate, and the community is formed. Then we have a lot of these community events. Like we have parties, we have a lot of other events like canvas painting, lot of things that we keep doing. So we have like a monthly calendar, and with different people having different interests. Based on that, people collaborate and work together on doing those events.
Right.
So that helps them to keep them joint, and they make a community out of it.
Right. So the overall idea of bringing in the sense of community is to make them feel that they have a family around here.
Yeah. So like our tagline is where friends become family. And actually, literally, some friends have become family by getting married in FF21.
Wow.
So that has happened. And so, at this age, 21 to 30, if you talk to any young person, their life is around friends. Parents are on the back seat. Everybody else is on the back seat. What really matters in their life is friends. And here they are able to find friends, new friends. A lot of friends come together and live. So there's so much time and places that they have within the FF21 building to do things that they like to do with friends. And that makes the community really thrive here.
Okay. So we recently did an episode with a company called Cotswold. They are based out of Bangalore too. They are from this build to rent vertical. And their primary USP is privacy. They do have small community activities, but their primary USP is privacy. So for someone who is living in a co-living space, is there an opportunity for them to have some kind of privacy in their daily life?
So see, there are different approaches and there are different people, different type of people. There is a market where people consider privacy more than community. So good, that segment will go to a place like that. But when it comes to privacy, our people get privacy in their rooms. The moment they are outside their room, there is no privacy. There is community. And that's how we want our places to be. We have gone one step forward that we have not even provided a TV in the rooms, because we don't want people to be living in their rooms all the time.
Okay.
So the idea is that they should step out and really enjoy the FF21 vibe by being in the common areas and making friends and enjoying with friends. If they need privacy, they can always go back to their room, and it's completely private. Nobody can enter their room without their permission.
That makes sense. So while I was preparing for this podcast, I've done a little bit of research. And according to Global Newswire, around 40% of Indians are between the age of 18 to 35. And in that particular segment, around 30 to 35% of them are choosing co-living spaces over a traditional renting, as in taking an apartment or a PG. Let's discuss about this rise of co-living space in India and what are some of the key factors that's pushing this.
See, if you see a life cycle of a person who comes and checks into FF21, the guy or the girl is coming either from a college or out of first job in some other city or town. I would put maybe 60-70% of the people come from B towns.
Right.
Not from the metros. Because churn between metros is less. People, if they're already in metro, they'll try to live there only.
Makes sense.
Like a person who lives in Bangalore hardly goes out of Bangalore unless their job takes them. So similarly, so B-town people, when they come into a metro, they feel little lost because it's a different environment, it's a bigger place. They don't know many things about how to live in a metro, and they don't know many people. So when they come in, they feel lost, they feel homesick, and they are stretched on their finances quite a bit. So for having fun, if you have to go to a pub or if you have to go to a restaurant, you have to spend money. So in FF21, what happens is when they come in, they are not lost because our reception is always there to help them with different things. How to get a cab, to how to get a bus, to how to reach their office. They can collaborate with other people in FF21 to go to their office complex because there will be many people going at the same time to the same complex. So there they start saving money and they know their whereabouts. They make friends here because there's enough number of people where they can find their own kind who they like, and they'll, out of 300 people, they'll find at least 4 or 5 people who gel with them, and they're able to find friends. Third thing is the finances. In finances, in today's young generation, other than the basic living cost, most of the cost is going in entertainment. Here, entertainment is in-house. They can be in their common places and have fun with their friends. That's exactly what they do in a pub or a restaurant. So they are able to do that free here. So that actually makes it easier for them to cut down cost on entertainment and enjoy themselves here itself. So in all three fronts, FF21 is able to provide that out to each and every youngster who comes into the city and helps them to settle down in a metro.
What you're doing for the students and young professionals here is beautiful because they, of course, would not have any idea about the city, and whatever you're doing is really good.
Thank you.
About the factors that have shifted people towards co-living, what would be some of the key factors? And do you think COVID also played a major role in it?
So one reason is, I think, the community part, finding friends, finding people, networking. So when a new person comes into the city, they are looking for better options, better opportunities. Here they have 300 to 500 people who they can interact with and figure out if they can get a better job, if they can get a better opportunity, or they can do something by moonlighting. A lot of things can happen. So that is an out that they get in a co-living place.
Right.
So other than a flat where either 3 or 6 people will be living and their life is confined to those 3 or 6 people, where they might not even gel so well with all 6 of them or all 3 of them, because everyone is different. And if you have a pool size of only 6 people, then very difficult to find the people who might or might not gel with you. You have to make a lot of adjustments. Here you don't have to make adjustments in co-living. In co-living, you just go around, talk to 20 people, and you'll at least find one person who works for you.
Yeah.
Then if you're not able to find, you talk to another 20. There are so many 20s to talk to. So there are so many people. So that makes a difference. So say for example, you like cricket. You can find people who like cricket. Because out of 300 people, you'll find some people who like cricket. If you like football, you'll find people who like football. If you like drinking, you can find people who drink. If you like people who do other things, like other hobbies or any hobby for that matter, out of a pool of 300 to 500 people, you can find someone. If somebody is not able to find anything, then there's a problem with that person. Otherwise, there's a definite chance of finding somebody who likes to do the same things that you want.
It's easier to find people on the same energy.
Yes.
Right. But since you've been in the game for the past 7-8 years, do you think the industry is the same before COVID and after COVID too?
Before COVID, it was very small. And we felt that there was not much of competition. Because see, primarily co-living, the word itself has come only in India, at least in, I would say, 2016 or 17.
Right.
Before that, nobody knew co-living. People used to talk about PG. There was no concept of co-living as such. Co-living also in terms of girls and boys living together in the same building.
Yeah.
Even that was not there. Now, from 16 onwards, it has started. And now we are seeing that after COVID, so many companies have come up. There is a lot of competition, but I always feel that competition is only because there is a demand. If there is no demand, there will be no competition. And if there is no competition, there will be no demand.
Exactly.
Because every company generates its own demand. And that's how the market grows. So overall market has grown many folds, I think, after COVID.
Right.
The only thing that I would say is different after COVID is the costs have gone up quite a bit after COVID. Overall costs.
Of the maintenance
of everything.
Right.
Even the rents have gone up, everything has gone up. The apartment rents are now double than what they used to be. So similarly, the buildings that we get are also having higher rent. The owners want higher rent. But somehow the salaries have not gone up of people that much. So there is a little bit of a disconnect there. So we are not able to raise our pricing that much because the paying capacity has not grown that much, but the costs have gone up. So that is something which we are struggling with a little bit. But I think we'll come along over the time.
So we spoke about COVID also and how it influenced the industry. Along with COVID, co-living industry grew in one side. On the parallel side, remote work was also, rapidly increasing. How has FF21 adopted to people who have, remote jobs?
So after co-living, COVID, basically co-living did face this huge challenge of work from home because 80-90% of the workforce was still in their own hometowns when we came out of COVID. Then slowly companies started putting their foot down to have an hybrid model. Now what has happened is I would say 70-80% of the workforce has come back, living in the metros, working on an hybrid model, where maybe 3 days or 4 days they are going to office and rest of the days they work from home. Or some companies even allow 2 days work from office. So now what has happened is, since they are spending more time at home, because work from home was detrimental to a renting company only if the people were staying in some other town.
Exactly.
If they are staying in the same town as the operator is, then there is no difference. People still have to find a place to live, right? In the metro. So in that case, since people are spending more time at home, they're looking for better homes and a better experience at home. Earlier, they were not spending much time at home. The companies used to have so many facilities in their campuses that people would spend most of their time at the campus and come back and sleep in a PG bed or something, where they didn't spend much time, just sleeping time basically. Now that's not the case. Out of 7 days in a week, they are spending at least 3 days to 4 days in a week at home. At home meaning in the co-living. Now obviously they want a better experience because they are spending so much time there. So they are willing to spend more also and get into a better co-living place. And that's where I feel FF21 is able to provide a much better option.
I've read this somewhere. So contextually what it meant was humans across cultures, across religions, we all like to admire beauty and we all appreciate looking at beautiful things. How important do you think aesthetic plays a role in setting up a co-living space? Because the place you have has been aesthetically wonderful. So how important do you think for a prospect who's choosing a co-living space, why would he pick a space that's aesthetically better than a normal one?
So I'll put a question to you.
Okay.
Okay. When you check into a hotel or you're looking at a hotel on one of the sites to book, what do you look for?
Primarily aesthetics.
One is aesthetics, second is their reviews, and third is what is the service quality. Right? These are the three things that a person actually looks at when you are trying to choose a place where you have to spend some time or you have to live. So in our business, see, there are two aspects of the business. One is when a person is walking in and seeing the place for the first time. So for that, aesthetics is like super important because when they come in and they see a nice place, they feel that this is the good place to live in, and they choose that and they book. Right? So that way, for business, aesthetics is very important. Second is when a person lives here, already booked and checked in now, and is living here. Then aesthetics at some point becomes landscape.
Right.
Right? You don't say wow to a room every day when you get into that room. You say it first time when you go in. You say, yeah, man, what a room. But when you go for third time, you don't even look at the room. You're now looking for people, you're looking for hygiene, cleanliness, all those things. So once a person checks in and has lived here for a week or so, aesthetics takes a backseat.
Okay.
Because aesthetics, obviously it should be dingy, but it doesn't matter if it's a wow place or not. Now they are looking for different things. They're looking for hygiene, cleanliness. If you have a very aesthetic place but it's dirty, then a person living there will not appreciate it. So that's where our second role comes in, of services, where we provide the services. So aesthetics is required for business to come in, but after that, aesthetics is not the only thing that drives FF21.
So since you've been in the industry for quite some time now, I'm sure you would have also known that all your competitors are catching up with the amenities that you provide, the services that you provide, and the aesthetics part. Moving forward, how do you think you can differentiate yourself from all these places? Because at some point, they're all going to catch up with what's happening in the industry, right? How are you planning to differentiate yourself?
See, this is a brick and mortar business. It may be tech enabled, but it is a very, very physical brick and mortar business where day in and day out servicing is required. So I'll tell you, I won't name the company, but I went to see one of the co-living companies building. So we booked and all that on the website, the visit and all that.
Did they know that you own FF21?
No, they didn't know we are founders of another co-living. We went as a customer to check out what's happening in the market, which is a common thing. Everybody does that. So we went and we wanted to check out the building. So we went on the website, booked our visit, and we went there. We were standing there for half an hour. Nobody was even there to take us inside the building. Then we found someone and we shouted at that guy, why you're not letting us in or anything. He said the sales guy will come and take you in, I can't take you in. So the point I'm making is that maybe one-off thing that happened. It's not like they are not doing a good job. It's just one-off thing. But what I'm trying to say is the differentiator is going to be services, not aesthetics.
Right.
Aesthetics can only take you so far. When you go to a restaurant, you might go to a restaurant first time for its aesthetics, for its, decor, all that. But if the food is shit, then you won't go there next time, right?
Definitely.
And the full co-living business works on word of mouth. We may do as much marketing as possible, but still our referral program and the word of mouth is the highest grosser in getting new people.
Right.
So if I do not provide good services, there is no chance of we being referred by our existing customers.
Right. So customer retention is
Customer retention and customer referral is only possible through good services. And that's where we make a huge differentiator in the whole industry. FF21 is just not about aesthetics, it's about services. You ask our residents, you've been here 2-3 days trying to do this. You might have talked to some people, ask them what our services are, if they like our services, if we care about them, if we think they are human beings. I mean, sorry to say, but in a PG, sometimes I feel they don't even think they are human beings. The way the services are being rolled out to them. So that's sad. That's very sad.
Definitely is.
Yeah. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is that the differentiator is services. And services is not something you design and stick on the wall. It's a day in, day out, 24/7 work to keep your team motivated to provide those services and provide them effectively.
Right. So services is one of the key factors for you to differentiate between the other players. Do you also think that FF21 being technology enabled is another primary cause for expanding your business and also differentiating yourself from the other players?
So I don't think a business can be scaled without technology. This kind of business, especially where 24/7 servicing is required. If we don't have a proper ticketing system, how the hell we will service? If we don't have proper finance system where our bookkeeping is being done, billing is being done properly, all that, how the hell are we going to manage the 2,000 bills that have to go out every month? And every other day there are purchases happening on the app. So, I mean, without technology is haath se thodi chalega kaam. We cannot do that, right? So similarly in everything, even in sales leads, I mean, we get more than 10,000 leads a month. Now 10,000 leads a month without a CRM, how do you handle it? I mean, there's no way. You'll lose 9,900 leads. Right? You won't be able to even contact them properly. So technology is a given. I mean, in today's world, how can you even think of a business without technology? Even a pan wala needs technology now. He uses Paytm.
He actually does, right? Let's also discuss about the, how technology can, simplify the process between the residents and the building owner. How has it simplified the communication between the parties?
See, as far as the building owner is concerned, building owners as in I meant FF. You mean operator?
Yeah. So for example, if I have a problem in my room, how have you simplified the process that I can get to you as quick as
possible? So every resident of ours has an app on their phone, which they have to download when they're checking in. Because unless they download that, they don't get access to Wi-Fi, they don't get access to anything.
Right.
They don't even get access to our access doors. So they have to get that app. Once they get that app, there is a complete system which is working on that app. There are different tabs. They can check their bill, they can make payments, they can raise a ticket, they can follow their ticket, they can comment on their ticket. Our team comments on that, which the resident is able to see. But all that on the back end is being run from Zoho Desk, the ticketing system. So everything runs from there. App is just the front end UI where they see what is happening in Zoho. So that's how it works. So technology is a given. I mean, without technology, nothing can happen. I mean, I'll not be sitting here. I'll be pulling my hair. Because 2,000 people complaining all the day, all the time, and not having a system to run that.
That's going to
be mad.
A terrible experience.
I'll be mad. I mean, all our team will be mad.
During our conversation yesterday, you mentioned that you have an in-house powerhouse application called Nucleus, right? So how important do you think Nucleus being able to communicate with Zoho applications without any problem is important? Or do you think it is, how important do you think the conversations between the software should be?
It has to be seamless.
Right.
It has to be seamless, fast, and without any glitches.
Right. Because even if there is some gap,
Even if one ticket gets lost, we have one disgruntled customer then,
right.
right? And say in a day one ticket gets lost, we have 30 in a month.
Right.
So I mean, it's as good as if the API engine doesn't work properly of any software, then we just have to change the software.
Right.
There's no other way.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Because
so it's
even,
like paramount. It's most important.
even if there's some gaps left between these applications, that would cause total disruption in terms of bookkeeping or in terms of strategizing your business itself. Right?
It has to be seamless. If it is not, then either you change the system or you create backups in the sense that if something gets missed, it's automatically the system is able to, generate a cause, an issue about it, and then that is settled by the developers, something like that. But we don't face that much of a problem on that. I think Zoho's API system is pretty good and pretty simple and very exhaustive. So almost every field is there in the API document. So you can tweak and change and call for any data point that you want from Zoho and to Zoho.
Right. So there would be some kind of reports that you generated in Zoho One across the tools, right? Now I have two questions. How has these tools helped you predict something that is going to go wrong and plan something better earlier? And the second question is, moving forward, did it help you, ideate your business in a particular direction?
So reporting is, key in any business for that matter, because without reporting, how do you come to know? Because sitting on the top somewhere is very difficult to see what's happening on the floor. And the only way you can look at it is through data trends. So what we do is we work on deviations and exception reports, where if, say, for example, there were 100 tickets in this month, next month we see 120 tickets, there's a 20% jump. So that comes out immediately in the report. And then we investigate why the tickets are going up. We figure out that there's something which is not working in every room, and that's why more tickets got generated. And at large, we try to, improve that. So similarly, it's basically based on exception reports and deviations in data trends. That whatever data is coming in month on month, week on week, based on that, we figure out where is the problem, and that's only possible through effective reporting. And Zoho, you can create your own reports and stuff, so it's easy.
Right.
You can create your own customized fields, and then based on that, create your reports. It's quite easy to figure out where the business is going, where the problems are growing or becoming better. So our deviations are mostly on the minus side, where we see that it should be less than last month. The problem should be less than last month.
Makes sense.
That's where we incentivize the teams also accordingly.
So from the perspective of a chief executive officer, does Zoho One provide you an overall view of everything that's happening in your business right now?
Between Zoho and Nucleus, yes. Between Zoho and Nucleus, we are able to figure out most of the aspects of the business. There are some things that we have to do ourselves, otherwise I wouldn't be required.
Right.
So, yeah, there's always room for improvement, and more information is required. So we keep working on new reports and stuff, but yeah, most of it is covered.
we didn't talk a lot about FF21. Right? What is the story of FF21? How was it formed? Where are you from? How did this happen?
So I've been living in Bangalore for many, many years, more than 20 years now. So we as a family, my family and me used to run a serviced apartments complex.
Okay.
Earlier. So it was a hospitality business basically, where we were providing accommodation for people who were recruited newly into these companies. And ideally a company gives a cool-over period within the metro for 14 nights or 10 nights, depending on the company policy. And that is given on company account to every new employee that comes in. So we had a lot of good big companies as our customers. And those people used to come and live with us. And these are all coming from different towns, different villages, cities in the country. And they would come and stay, and then the first camaraderie, the first community was formed within those people. And these were groups of 200, 300 people who used to come. And they would stay with us, and then they would approach our front desk asking if you know some PG, if you know some broker, because they have to find a home. Now, after 14 days, they have to shift in their own place and they have to live and pay for it also. So they would come and ask. So our front desk used to come back to us and tell us that this is what everybody keeps asking. So should we tell or not tell? So we said, yeah, you have to help them, and you keep a list of brokers that are there, and all that is to happen. Then at one point we thought that why don't we have something where we can take them? Instead of they finding other places, we should be able to take them to our own. So it's like forward integration into the business. So that's what we thought. And we, because co-living is a very different business than service apartment business. So we didn't know this business at that time. So we thought we'll do a trial. We took a small building and we started working on it. Then we saw that we had a group staying with us of about 50, 60 people. And we mooted this, property to them. That this is a property available. All you guys, since they had all become friends within those 2 weeks that they have stayed. So all of them, at least 3-4 of them out of everybody would want to stay together. So we told them, why don't you stay here? We have a place for 60 people. You stay here, and this is the cost and all that. And aesthetically, again, it was done very nicely, that building also. So they all shifted there.
Right.
And then they carried on living with us for next, quite a long time. So it was a successful experiment, and we thought this is easy, yaar. Easily ho jayega ye to. Then we went in and got our first building in HBR layout. That was a 90-room building. And we started with that. In that also, when we finished the building and we put the pictures out on social media, so people used to come and see the building, and they would say, we have come to check if those pictures were real or not. They would come like that. So, and immediately within 15 days, the building got full. Wow. But that was very initial times, and there were not many co-living places, and we were competing with PG. So obviously we were a winner in that. So that is not a benchmark today. Right. But yes, it worked. And then the story started, the journey's been on.
Fun fact, Zoho One was also, released in the year of 2017.
Yeah, so
fantastic.
Been together. Yeah, so I think, the other options that we had was SAP and all. We were a very tiny company. We couldn't afford SAP and all. So SAP has a certain scale. You can't do it without that. Then other than that, the CRMs which we saw were all very local CRMs. So Zoho looked like the best option for us, and the pricing was also on a license basis. So We, I think, started with 1 or 2 licenses, with everything done by one person. That's how we started.
That's how everyone started.
Today we have a lot of licenses with you.
It has been a wonderful conversation, Ajay. But before we wrap up, we have this tradition of asking the guests to share few insights that you would like to tell people who are looking to enter into the co-living industry. What would be the do's and don'ts that you learned over the period of time? Because you've been in the industry since it started, I think people will be much more benefited from these. What would be your 2 cents?
So, see, as much as I know about the co-living industry, there are lot of people who try to enter the industry just for valuation. Please don't do that. This is not an industry for valuation. This is an industry for hard work, and it takes time to grow in this. You cannot grow mad in this, and if you try to grow mad, you will go mad, as well as the business will not go mad. It cannot get profitable. So you have to tread very slowly, make a profitable business. Think of making a business, not a company for valuation.
Right.
Then I think it works. And there has to be some level of dedication to provide a certain level of services.
So do you think it is a good time for investors and people who are looking to get into the industry? Is it a good time for them to step into co-living?
For investors also, I would say the same thing. Don't invest in a company thinking that it's going to become 10x, 100x.
Right.
Not going to happen in co-living.
Okay.
It has to be looked at as a brick and mortar business, which can be tech enabled. And I think when an investor is looking out for founders who can run a profitable, successful co-living business, is how adaptive they are towards technology. Because that's the only way you can scale co-living. People who are not very conversant with technology will not be able to scale in co-living.
Right.
If you have the right technology, you can scale at a certain pace, but not like the eyeball business. This is not an eyeball business.
Ajay, I've met a couple of business owners from various industries, and one thing I've learned from all of them is, of course, making money is one of the primary goals, but having a vision that would do good to the society in a larger scale. Those people they always survive and they always win. What you're doing with FF21 is also very similar to doing good to the society. So thank you for having us here. We appreciate having you on our show. Thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.